Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. This story came out, I want to say, goodness, a week or two ago. I think it was a week ago. And, no, it might have been a week and a half ago. And I have so many things to say. Because it touches on the Nintendo Palworld lawsuit, but it's also kind of like it's not kind of a distraction from it in a way, but it's a weird one. So we'll just run with it. So I'll go ahead and pull it up. Coming from IGN, unfortunately, former Capcom designer Yoshiki Okamoto sparks backlash in Japan by saying Palworld has crossed a line that should not be crossed. Now, what does he mean? We're about to find out. Now, they say perfect parry. I do not necessarily agree with that. The Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's ongoing patent infringement lawsuit against Pocket Pair's Palworld has stirred up much debate among game developers and players alike. However, former Capcom game developer Yoshiki Okamoto's recent YouTube video, in which he made comments seemingly against Pocket Pair and Palworld, has sparked a strong backlash from viewers. Current chairman of the Japan Game Culture Foundation, which I don't know if that means anything, Yoshiki Okamoto has worked in the game industry for over 40 years. That literally means nothing if you have a bad take. Sorry. With a varied resume which includes Street Fighter II, the first Resident Evil, and a hit mobile game Monster Strike. He also created the original concept for what would become Rockstar's Red Dead Revolver. This is devolving. In a YouTube posted on his channel on September 27th, Okamoto gave his opinions on the ongoing Nintendo vs. Pocket Pair lawsuit, saying that Palworld had, quote, crossed a line that should not be crossed, and I don't want the world to become a place where this kind of thing is acceptable, end quote. Later in the video, Okamoto said that, quote, if a settlement is reached with Nintendo, then I think it, Palworld, will become a game that is officially fine to play. However, it is currently a game that's being sued, so it's unacceptable. By playing the game, you are supporting it, so please don't buy it, end quote. Now, I think this is funny. If the settlement is reached with Nintendo, you know, it's okay to play Palworld then. It's all fine, it's all dandy, woohoo, everyone wins. But until that point, it's not a good thing to play this game, so don't support it. It's unacceptable. And it's like, oh, okay, so all I have to do is be a company that sues Pokemon, sues Nintendo, sues Pokemon, and you're not allowed to touch anything Pokemon because it's unacceptable, because it's being sued. You could literally burn a company to the ground financially by doing this. Like, quite literally, like, let's say you have deep pockets. Like, you're like, let's, Elon Musk deep pockets, right? And you're going up against Nintendo, and you're just like, well, I'm going to sue you over some minute detail, and I'm going to draw it out for years. And if this guy had his way, you couldn't touch Pokemon. No trading cards, no video games, no merch, no plushies, which is technically merch. But, like, nothing. Like, you couldn't go to Nintendo World, or Pokemon World, more specifically. You wouldn't be able to do nothing, because it wouldn't be acceptable. So, it's a silly concept to be like, well, just because something's being sued means it's unacceptable. Now, my guess is, from his perspective, this is the Japanese culture thing where, like, you shouldn't do a dishonorable thing like go against one of our big companies because it's the pride and joy of our country kind of thing, blah, 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 right? Which I think is faulty, because not because I'm not Japanese, not because, I'm anti corporation inherently. I don't think a corporation is inherently evil. I think they most typically just are. And Nintendo's been working its hardest to become the BBEG, big bad evil guy of every Dungeons and Dragons story that it could possibly touch. But what is it actually doing? Well, his whole view is based off of like unlimited support for the face of your country. And to a lot of the world, Nintendo's the face of Japan because everybody plays Nintendo. Sony to some extent has that as well, but that's why Nintendo and Sony aren't like going at it, right? But if Sony's over here supporting Palworld, which they seem to be, and Nintendo's not supporting it by actively going after it, why is Okamoto not going after Sony? Sony's supporting them. Sony's like, we'll get you a deal, we'll put you on our stuff, because Nintendo doesn't want to lose its unique status for monster catcher type games. Like, they gotta catch them all, collect them all kind of games, because if Sony breaks into that, or PC breaks into that, which PC already has, we have Koromon, and you have Temtem. Unfortunately, Temtem is online only at the moment, and they, for no reason that makes any sense, they're like, we don't want to put a single player mode in, but if we ever have to shut our servers down, we'll make a single player mode. I'm like, why don't you just do it now? Because then I can play it when I'm not within range of wire or Wi-Fi or internet or anything. Like, I want to be able to play it whenever, wherever, however. I have a Steam Deck. I mean, I'd buy Temtem in a heartbeat for Switch if it was offline mode, because if you're not at home or you're not at a place that has internet, let's say you're going on a trip and you're on a bus and the bus doesn't have internet and you don't have a phone with any type of hotspot or anything, so like there's no access to internet. Well, guess what? You can't play your game. I don't like that. Now, I do have Temtem because I bought it out of excitement when it first was in early access, and I was like, ooh, this looks really fun. Like, they took all the good aspects of Pokemon and chucked all the bad aspects of Pokemon. That's pretty freaking cool. Oh, it's also an MMO. Well, here's the funny thing about MMOs. You can make an MMO and make it single player. But I digress. They did really good with it. I'm a big Temtem fanboy until we asked, like, when can we have single player mode? Because you can do dual battles. So, like, if you and a friend go into a battle together, they can use a Tem and you can use a Tem, and you can basically synchronize your play together to fight other Tems. And it's like, that's pretty nifty. That's pretty cool. That's a really cool system. You can also swap out skills as you want to. That's really cool. And it's just like, this is great. Can I play it offline, please? No. So at this point, all we can hope for is that they close down the servers, so they have to give us a single player, and then we can just bring back multiplayer on our own, because it's stupid. It's really stupid, and shame on Temtem for doing that, but whatever. But you have Koromon, you have Temtem, you've got a bunch of other things like cassette beasts and a bunch of other different styles and variations of like a monster collection system, right? So what can you do with that? Well, are they as popular as Pokemon? No. Is Palworld more popular than those? Yes. And that's why they're targeting it, because it's more popular. It's showing up the Pokemon Company and Nintendo and Game Freak. Now, I have problems with Game Freak for multiple reasons. One, they know they have the ability to optimize and make a better looking game. They just refuse to do so for Pokemon. Because after Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you're like, that could have looked better. Like, a lot better. A lot better. And then you look at Palworld and you're like, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet could have looked like that. We're getting ripped off hardcore. So then, you know, Nintendo company probably is also in the main scheme of things, and like, don't optimize it, like, just make it work, make it passable, because they'll just eat it up like slop anyway, because Pokemon fans are the dumbest people on the earth, right? Like, they'll pay us money for no reason. They'll just say, oh, it has Pokemon written on it, therefore they'll just throw money at us. And that's apparently what they think is going to be the case. So if people stopped buying Pokemon stuff, they'd probably change their tune. If Palworld rose up and became a absolute powerhouse to compete with Pokemon would have to, they'd be forced to be innovative and actually optimize their games. Stop being a Capcom. Freaking optimize your godforsaken game. It's just Japan apparently does not like optimization unless you're, I should say, if you're in the mainstream big publishers. But if you're like this small no-name company like Palworld, they're like, no, we're gonna freaking optimize the snot out of this game, and it's a really fun game. I've got people who've never touched like Pokemon games or anything like that. I've told them about it, and they've picked it up, and they're like, holy snot, this is freaking fun. It can be played with people or by yourself. Looking at you, Temtem. And you can do all this cool stuff. And it's fun. That's the main thing. It is fun. The creatures are funny or cool, depending on which creature you're looking at. And you can build bases and do all that type of stuff. Now, if Palworld decided, you know what, we're going to make a traditional Pokemon style game, and we're going to just do Palworld, monsters and, or Mons, I should say, the pals, whatever. We're going to do the traditional Pokemon style where you just walk around and, you know, you do your stuff. Or we're going to do it like Scarlet and Violet and, what is it, Z, the Legends game. I don't know how all that's going to go, but whatever. We're gonna go and we're going to do that. And then just watch them absolutely crush Pokemon in terms of hype. They may not do it in sales because Pokemon's, well, one, been around for a lot longer and whatnot. But if Palworld came to the forefront and said, we're going to innovate where Pokemon refuses to do so, they would probably make a killing off of it. And I mean like a killing in the greatest sense of the word. Like it would be able to jumpstart more. Like Palworld by itself has already jumpstart Pal Farm, apparently a dating game, dating sim. That was originally an April Fool's joke. Stuff like that. Like you're gonna see amazing progress in the entire industry when competition rises. But if you're saying, well, they threw a ball at somebody, therefore, you know, can't do that. Oh, you mounted onto an animal, can't do that. Well, I guess we're not gonna get Red Dead Redemption 3. I guess you can't do pretty much any game period that has any animal in it because they're just gonna, you know, patent that. It's like, oh, you mounted on a horse? Oh, patent that. Well, if they patent it, it's like, well, you can't mount a horse on the left side. It's like, okay, then we'll just do it on the right side. Oh, no, you can't do that either because we're gonna patent that too. It's like, so I can't get on my horse? No. So you're gonna destroy the entire industry. Why is the U.S. Patent Office allowing this at all is beyond me. But I digress. We'll get back to this. The comment in his labeling of Pocket Pair as an anti-XXXX, Okamoto bleeped out and distorted the last kanji letter of the word in both audio and subtitle in the video, prompted a flood of criticism in the comments, and many did not hold back. The majority of commenters interpreted Okamoto's half-obscured term as hansha, or anti-social force, an abbreviated term often used to describe criminal organizations like the Yakuza and groups that operate in ways that go against the proper and or legal way of doing things. Making a game that is legal and is technically proper wouldn't apply to Palworld or Pocket Pair specifically. So they established a company, Pocket Pair, legal. They made a game that's also legal. The game is similar, kind of like how Pokemon's similar to Dragon Quest, or Digimon is similar to Pokemon, or whatever game you want to. Like, there's a lot of similars in there. That's all proper and legal. They didn't use identical stuff. They had variations. Pokemon's not or Pokemon Company, Nintendo, and everything is not suing Pocket Pair because their sketches are somewhat similar. That's not even why they're suing them. That's the stupid part. They know that's a lost cause. There's enough difference that it wouldn't matter. But who cares? One commenter pointed out that calling Pocket Pair an anti-social force could be considered defamation. They then added, on the other hand, or quote, on the other hand, your argument that people should stop playing games with questionable content because this equates to supporting them is convincing, before announcing that these words made them decide to quit playing Okamoto's Monster Strike after nearly 20 years. Other user reactions included, quote, I think assuming something is bad just because it's been sued is wrong, end quote, and, quote, no matter how much you dislike Pocket Pair and Palworld, calling them antisocial is crossing a line, end quote. This is Yoshiki Okamoto. Okamoto openly acknowledges that even though people have recommended it to him, he has never actually played Palworld, insisting, I have no intention of playing this game or spending money on it. He pointed out that Palworld had become a divisive topic, with people split into fan and hater camps. What? You can be a fan of a game, but you don't have to hate the game. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you hate the game unless you played it? And if you played it and it wasn't for you, you're not a hater by default. You're just saying, it's not for me. I didn't like it. I'm not the target audience. Doesn't make you a hater. And confirmed that he is anti-Palworld. But at the same time, I understand that there are fans out there, he added. Okay. Well, if you're attacking them, saying they're doing something incorrigible, that's not proper, or almost criminal-like, then you're saying the same of the fans of the series. I think 40 years of video games in a culture that has a very specific designation of honor would understand that simple concept, but apparently that's too much for him. In the video, Okamoto also expressed concern that if Pocket Pair wins the lawsuit and is able to release the full version of the game, it is a full version game already released, then copyright infringement may be seen as more acceptable if a game is perceived as interesting and gets good reviews. It's not copyright infringement. They're suing to say it's copyright infringement. But if they win the lawsuit, it shows it was not copyright infringement. That's the point. It's not copyright infringement. It's not copyright infringement just because we don't like what they're doing. That's not how copyright infringement works. It's not copyright infringement because, well, it's good. It takes on a big company that we are very proud of here in Japan. Nobody gives a crap. Like, literally. It's not copyright infringement because you dislike something. I don't go and say, well, I really like this water bottle and this company that makes this water bottle, but these guys over here, they made a water bottle. That's copyright infringement. You don't do that. That's stupid. It's not copyright infringement because they use a similar style. It's a freaking water bottle. There's only so many shapes and sizes you can do with it. Or are you going to say that, oh yeah, well, only one company who makes every design style possible, nobody else can have water bottles? That would be retarded. And I mean that in every sense of the French word. Like, retarded. Like, stupid. Over the top, stupid. So, if the game is perceived as interesting and gets good reviews, would you not be getting that from Pokemon? Like, nobody would buy Palworld if Pokemon was doing its job. Entertaining us. Getting us games that are not, unoptimized. Making it so the game's actually fun. Advancing Pokemon's abilities and things that it can do. Opening new worlds. Yeah, they add lots of Pokemon, but some of them are ridiculously stupid. It's a chair. It's a candelabra. Whatever happened to the ingenuity? It just died. Oh, look, it's a freaking dog with a freaking sword in its mouth. Or it's a lion with a mane that's a shield. Some of these things are getting really stupid. He also worried that this could potentially open the floodgates to the hard work of creators on the other Nintendo series, like Mario and Zelda, etc., being more freely and overtly copied, especially with the use of generative AI. Don't bring an AI to this nonsense. If Mario is the best, no one's competing with it because Mario will always sell more. Why would I buy some secondhand schmuck slop, whether it's generative AI or not, if it's worse than Mario? I'm busy playing Mario. That's how this works. Yeah, somebody might go and buy both, but they're going to be playing Mario, not the other game, because Mario has all the things they want, and the other game's only a copy of it. It's a shadow of a thought. It's not a real thing that is on their mind, even if they do buy it. And I would argue you'll get more sales for Mario if it's innovative, and people will play it. I would say people will stream it. They won't freaking let you stream anything because Nintendo's a bunch of dicks. So, Zelda, because of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, are you going to prevent people from climbing up walls? Are you going to prevent temperature systems? Are you going to prevent, riding on animals? Are you going to prevent, using weapons, having weapons break, blah, blah, blah? I hate to break this to you, pun intended. Dead Island had broken weapons well before Zelda did. Like, the actual mechanic where after you use it so many times it breaks, the durability mechanic, was in Dead Island well before it was in any Zelda game. And I hate that mechanic with a passion. That's why I don't play Dead Island. Taking a metal pipe to a zombie's head, bashing their head in, and breaking a metal pipe that you can literally just duct tape together is a dumb mechanic. Sorry. That's just, it's reality. However, commenters also pointed out that many games have used elements of previous titles made by other companies, noting that this includes games Okamoto worked on. People mentioned how Street Fighter II used similar elements to previous fighting games like Yi Ar Kung Fu, and how Monster Strike's UI is similar to Puzzle and Dragons. Quote, "How can someone who has done things like that speak out against Palworld?" End quote, said one. Sad one? You mean said one? Freaking edit your stuff, IGN. Holy cow. Others pointed out that Okamoto's mention of generative AI risks feeding the false rumor, since debunked by Pocket Pair, that developer used Gen AI in the creation of Palworld. You don't need to. They're simple creatures. They're not, beyond the pale difficult. If I said, make me a lion, and it's electrical, you make a lion that's electrical. Do you draw inspiration from things that are already existent so people are familiar with them? Maybe. Sure, why not? If you're not copying it one-to-one, what's the freaking big deal? If Pokemon is better, that's what's going to pull its attention. If Palworld's better, that's going to pull its attention. And you can see your Pal Farm first screenshots. Yeah. Referencing the changes made to Palworld mechanics under dispute in the lawsuit, Okamoto predicted that Pocket Pair have worked out some way to settle the matter with Nintendo. Why would you think that? Which is why it announced a full official release of the game. Or it could just be like we're doing our own thing and the lawsuit's frivolous. Why would the lawsuit still be ongoing if that was the case? However, he noted there is no information to properly confirm that this at the time. Well, then you're speculating in your 40 years of apparent stupidity. I don't like being mean to people like this, but the guy's really getting on my nerves. The Nintendo Palworld lawsuit, which has been ongoing in Japan since its announcement in September 2024, involves 3 patents, 2 related to monster capture and release, and 1 related to riding characters. Well, you don't ride characters. You ride animals. You ride the pals. For more details, check out I Don't Want to Care. Why Nintendo rewrote patents mid-case? Well, because Nintendo has to make the case so they can shut things down. You don't rewrite things like that to begin with. Nintendo's recent move to discount mods as prior art, that was also stupid. I'm pretty sure I covered that. All the while, Nintendo has been busy obtaining patents, some of which IP lawyers said should never have been granted. Yes! Most of these should not have been granted. Who cares if you have a basic everyday use? It's like, I don't really have one around, but if I had a Pokeball, which I don't right now, but if I had a Pokeball and I threw it and I caught something, woo, okay. Well, if I have a not Pokeball, so it's not a Pokeball, and I throw it and I catch something, woo, that's not a patentable thing. I threw something at a monster and I captured it. I mean, Temtem has little digicards that expand, and they go and they zip around and basically digitally record the Tem and capture it in a card. And then that's how you capture them. It's a capture mechanic. If Palworld does that, boom, game over, Nintendo. But it's stupid. It's stupid. It's all stupid. I mean, a Pal Sphere and a Pokeball, they don't even look similar. Like, they have a sphere. Can I patent a sphere? No. Okay, well then throw it out. It's done. This is stupid. As it develops its case against Pocket Pair, which is vowed to defend itself in court. Well, if it's vowed to defend itself in court, it's not settling. That's not how that works. Last month, Pocket Pair announced Palworld Pal Farm, just a week after Nintendo revealed fellow cozy farming sim Pokemon Pokopia. And it looked retarded. Pocket Pair announced on September 16th that Palworld will be getting an official 1.0 release sometime in 2026. Okay, so it's not officially. They have a lot of updates, right? And they had several big drops where they added more content and more stuff in it, and it's pretty good. At GDC in March, IGN sat down and extended a conversation with Pocket Bear Communications Director and Publishing Manager John Bucky Buckley. That's an unfortunate name. Following his talk at the conference, Community Management Summit, a Palworld roller coaster surviving the drop. During the talk, Buckley went into candid detail about a number of Palworld struggles, especially the accusations of it using generative AI and stealing Pokemon models for its own pals. He even commented on Nintendo's patent infringement lawsuit against the studio, saying, quote, "It came as a shock," end quote, and was, quote, "something that no one ever even considered," end quote. So that's that. So, it is difficult to be a fan of Nintendo these days. That's the short shrift of it. Is that like I want to enjoy Nintendo games. I have a ton of Nintendo games, but they're going on a villain arc for the dumbest reasons. It's because they're lazy, they're stupid, they can't come up with anything better than what they have. They can't do better. They can't operate better. They're just wanting to bleed you dry of money while taking it all in. They're literally wallet vampires, and there's no benefit to those they're draining of all the money. There's no benefit. The games aren't increasing in quality. The games are just more options. That's literally it. It's just options. But if Palworld's coming in saying, we're going to shake this up, not necessarily intentionally, maybe they intended to be that way, but maybe they're just like, we like games. We're going to make a game. We're a Japanese company. We're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. If it was a Chinese company, they ain't touching it. They can't do nothing about it because it's Chinese. But most of the fault here lies with the U.S. patent system, and somebody needs to sue them for basically trying to destroy entire industries. Because at this point, I'm going to patent a codex. Why not? Patent company, U.S. Patent Office. Why not? Why can't I just patent codexes so that no one can ever read books ever again? You cannot make more books because, well, there's no reason not to. So that means no RPG books. That means no fantasy books. That means no nonfiction books. That means nothing. Reading is gone in the book format. Unless I make it. Which would be a monopoly, which should be broken up, etc. Which, if this is the case, then you should break up freaking Pokemon. Like, if we're gonna make it into a monopoly, it needs to be broken to pieces. And if it's a foreign asset, aka Nintendo's Japan's asset, and we can't break it up. You should abolish its patents, because if we're not allowing monopolies in our country, then you shouldn't allow them in other countries because of patents. It's frustrating. Anyway, that's really all it was for today, and 40 years in the industry, I would have thought better of him. I don't know him very well. I kind of just discovered him through this whole fiasco, and not happy with what I see. So hopefully it'll get better in the future. But Pocket Pair winning is really the only good outcome of this. But I wish Pocket Pair also had in its its lawsuit as a counter that should they win, which they should, those patents get absolved and are untouchable. Like, I'd rather have 100 Pocket Pair companies than one Pokemon company that tries to control everybody else. So, because it's not a consumer-friendly practice, it's a self-preservation of greedy and lazy people practice. But thanks everybody for sticking around this long. Check the description for the Discord, Twitter/X. Also check out content creators there that are posted there, and check out businesses that support you through non-censorship practices and anti-censorship practices. They do. Yeah. So thanks everybody for sticking around. Remember, my friends, walk in the light.